Am I the antagonist for expecting to live alone in a house me and my father built? I came back from traveling 2 years ago and worked really hard to save £100,000 when I was away. I returned to visit my family after COVID restrictions finally improved. I had to decide whether to go back or start a life back home, and a mortgage advisor confirmed that I could buy my first house. During Christmas, my father asked me to help him out. He has been running a small engineering business as a sole trader for years. In the background, he obtained planning permission for a small one-bedroom house to be built next to his workshop. After discussing with my father, we decided that I could continue working with him, and together we would build this house. He would cover the costs of the build since he owns the land, and I would purchase the house once it's finished. So I made up my mind. During this time, I have essentially been running my father's business. He offered to sell the business to me for £100,000. Currently, the business generates a turnover of about £90,000 per year and is struggling to find new clients, barely making a profit. I see potential for improvement, but most of our equipment is on its last legs, requiring a significant investment. My father is ready to sell if I'm not interested. However, the proximity to my future home is a big incentive for me to make things work and become my own boss. Now, 2 years later, my father just informed me, 1 month away from finishing the house, that he will be staying with me from Monday to Friday for at least a year while he sells his other home. During that time, he will also be searching for another plot of land to build his next home. This arrangement could potentially prolong his stay for more than a year. The house is not big enough for 2 people, which means one of us would have to sleep on the sofa. I have had a difficult year mentally, and my father has played a significant negative role in that. So it was a strong motivation for me to move into this house, start fresh, and work on the business without him being present. Now he wants more money for the house. I understand that this is a fortunate position to be in. However, I feel very entangled in my dad's plans and how he wants things to work. I would have to rely on him to underwrite my mortgage, pay him rent for the business premises he owns, owe him £100,000 for a struggling business, and deal with paying him cash for rent over a year, which won't help me in my mortgage application. It makes me feel trapped, like I will never be able to break free. Am I wrong for expecting to live here alone? Or is my dad at fault for changing the terms? It seems like your father is changing the terms of the agreement and putting you in a difficult situation. You had initially agreed to build and buy the house on your own, but now he wants to move in with you for an extended period of time. This would clearly disrupt your plans and make it difficult for you to have your own space and work on the business independently. It's understandable that you feel tied up and frustrated with the situation. Your father should have been upfront about his plans beforehand and not change the goalpost at the last minute. Am I the antagonist for not co-signing for my fiancé's car? Hi, I'm a 24-year-old female and I have been engaged to a 29-year-old male for 2 years. We have never fought before, but recently we had our first argument about finances. My fiancé comes from a background where his guardian used to collect welfare and steal his money, paying bills in his name. This continued until he moved in with me at the age of 26. He didn't have any employable skills and was stuck in minimum wage jobs. However, he recently went back to school and graduated with a certificate in the trades. He is now waiting to get his license to practice. Once he passes the exam, he failed once already, he will be making a good income. His current car is on the verge of breaking down and needs over $5,000 worth of repairs. It's crucial for him to get a new car, especially for the winters where we live, so that he can still go to work. However, he insists on getting a Mustang. I have told him that I won't co-sign for him due to his unpaid debts, and the fact that he hasn't helped me financially since he finished school and started working full-time. I cut him some slack when he was studying. He's very upset about my refusal to co-sign. We even looked at another car within his price range that would be more practical, but he acted upset the entire time because they didn't require a co-signer. It felt like he was throwing a tantrum. Tonight, after having a few drinks, I mistakenly said that I would co-sign for a Mustang. Suddenly, he became happy again. However, when I sobered up, we got into a fight and now we're in separate rooms. I told him that I don't want to be taken advantage of because it's a significant amount of money. Earlier this week, he did some sneaky things like trying to go out of state to buy a Mustang when we had plans to spend the day together. He blew me off and ruined my plans. I ended up yelling at him, telling him to forget about the car. I tried explaining to him why it's more practical for him to get a car within his budget. He hasn't even made an effort to help me with rent or bills again. I don't know if I'm in the wrong, but we don't even have a date for our wedding, and he prioritizes buying an impractical car first. I suggested that he could buy the car we saw without me co-signing, make affordable payments, and then buy the Mustang when he has the money. Am I the asshole? It's understandable that you are hesitant to co-sign a loan for your fiancé due to his unpaid debts and lack of financial contribution towards rent and bills. It shows that you are responsible and cautious about finances, which is important in any relationship. Your fiancé's desire for a Mustang, despite it being impractical financially, is also concerning. It's not unreasonable for you to suggest getting a more affordable car within his price range that will meet his needs. It's important to prioritize financial stability before making extravagant purchases. Furthermore, His actions of blowing off your plans and not taking initiative to help with rent or bills again raise red flags about his priorities and commitment to the relationship. It's essential for you to have a calm and open conversation with your fiancé about your financial concerns and expectations. It might be beneficial to seek premarital counseling or financial advice to resolve these issues before moving forward with the wedding. Am I the antagonist for not having my fiancé's twin as a bridesmaid? My fiancé and I are experiencing difficulties with his family, and we're unsure how to proceed. We have been together for 4 years and will be getting married next summer. To avoid unwanted opinions, we are funding our own wedding. My fiancé has a twin sister and 2 older sisters. To quickly describe his relationship with his mother, he jokingly refers to her as his business partner due to their somewhat distant connection. I have had a positive relationship with his parents in the past. It's also important to note that my fiancé's twin sister and I have never been close due to certain situations and personality differences. Our interactions have often been characterized by an air of superiority. Allow me to illustrate some instances that exemplify the challenges my fiancé and I face with his twin sister. When they attended the same college, my fiancé would frequently run errands for her, such as picking up her car, buying groceries, and filling her gas tank while she took naps. She didn't learn to pump her own gas until the age of 21. Furthermore, she discovered my fiancé's exciting job opportunities and had her husband apply for the same positions in hopes of securing them for himself. She is now recently married with a baby. Immediately after getting engaged, his family began inquiring about the members of the wedding party. We discussed this and agreed that each of us should have whoever they wanted in order to feel comfortable on our special day. I decided not to include his sisters as bridesmaids since we weren't close, and he supported this decision. In brief, I have since moved out of state, and his family discovered that his sisters, particularly his twin, were not chosen as bridesmaids, which caused a major uproar. His parents accused us of various things, including making his twin cry so much that she couldn't sleep and aggravating her stomach condition to the point of hospitalization. They even consulted their priest about us. His parents told my fiancé that I was revealing my true nature, asserting that I would control and manipulate him for the rest of our lives. They advised him to seriously reconsider our wedding. They stated that as long as his twin sister was content, everyone would be happy. They also told my fiancé that he needed to stand up to me and prioritize his sister. Throughout all of this, my fiancé felt heartbroken and angry with his family for speaking ill of me and mistreating us. Many events have unfolded since then, and I haven't seen his family in months, even when I visit our hometown. Presently, the situation stands as follows. My fiancé and his father are speaking, and although his father hasn't apologized, he frequently expresses his love for me, and his mother and sister are not speaking to either of us. I have not seen or communicated with his parents or his twin sister since this incident, and I'm unsure whether I should reconcile with them before the wedding. Am I the one at fault for causing this drama, considering we previously had a good relationship? It is clear that your fiancé's twin sister and his family have been causing the drama, not you. You and your fiancé made a decision about your wedding party that is completely reasonable and within your rights. It's unfair for his family to accuse you of making his twin sister cry or causing her health issues. It seems like they are putting the twin sister's feelings and desires above yours and your fiancé's, which is not fair or respectful. It's understandable that you would not want to see or speak to them after the way they have treated you both. Ultimately, it is up to you whether or not you want to try to reconcile with his family before the wedding. However, it may be important to address the issues and set boundaries with them before moving forward to ensure a healthier dynamic in the future. Communication and open dialogue may be essential in resolving these problems. Overall, it's important to prioritize your and your fiancé's happiness and mental well-being. You should not be made to feel guilty for making choices that make you comfortable on your special day. Am I the antagonist for not making concessions for a family member with dog allergies? My stepdad has been a part of our family for 20 years. We always knew about his dog allergies, but it has never been a problem until the last 3 years. It has become the central focus of our family dynamics. Despite growing up with a dog at my other parents' house and getting one of my own after moving out, it was never an issue. My sibling also owns a dog. We lived with my stepdad for a while, had weekly dinners after moving out, and would even leave our kids with the grandparents for a day. However, when the pandemic hit, there was suddenly a great deal of anxiety surrounding my stepfather's lung health and allergies. We stopped receiving dinner invitations, but if we did get invited, we were asked to shower and change into fresh clothes. They stopped watching our kids, and we stopped celebrating holidays and special occasions at their house. Now they insist that it's better for them to visit our house, which is filled with dogs, rather than us bringing dog dander into their environment. Every time I agree to a request, the goalposts move, and there's always another demand. It's starting to feel like my stepfather's healthcare is my responsibility to manage. If I refuse to comply with their requests, it means I won't be able to see my family, and my kids won't be able to see their grandparents. The most recent request was to celebrate a family birthday at a rental location instead of their house. We haven't been to their house since November 2022, It just seems so absurd to me, but I'm unsure if I'm underestimating the severity of his allergies or if they have genuinely become suddenly worse, thus becoming our new reality. Would I be the asshole if I decide to stop accommodating their requests, even if it results in a more distant relationship? While it's important to be considerate of your stepfather's allergies, it seems like his demands and requests have become excessive and unreasonable. It's understandable that you feel frustrated and like his healthcare has become your responsibility. It's okay for you to set boundaries and prioritize your own family's well-being. It's important to have open and honest communication with your parents about how their requests are impacting your relationship and find a compromise that works for everyone. Am I the antagonist for refusing to pay for my friend to go to a salon after doing her hair for her and it not turning out how she wanted it to? Recently, a female friend of mine, 23 years old, asked me, a 22-year-old female, to dye her hair. I want to clarify that I have no professional training in hair care, but I've become quite skilled at coloring and cutting my own hair over the past year or two through self-teaching. I've previously dyed and cut bangs for another friend without any issues, so I didn't hesitate to say yes to this request. However, I did ask my friend to cover the cost of materials and maybe treat me to something like a pizza or getting high as a token of appreciation for my efforts. This particular friend is very easygoing and had realistic expectations. She knew I wasn't a professional and understood that I was doing it for free. Armed only with Manic Panic dye and a pair of hair scissors I found on Amazon, I went into the process with her. The problem is that the friend I'm referring to now is not as easygoing. Despite being warned in advance about my lack of professional expertise and doing this as a favor, she still insisted on proceeding. I should have seen it coming, considering how high-strung she can be, especially when she announced that she wanted to go platinum blonde. This would be quite challenging since she has naturally dark hair. Regardless, she still trusted me and believed I could achieve the look. The bleaching process went smoothly without any issues. However, for those unfamiliar, bleached hair doesn't immediately become the perfect blonde shade you desire after rinsing. Understandably, her hair turned out very brassy since we were going from almost black. This was completely expected, and I had a toner for achieving a platinum color as well as purple shampoo prepared for the next steps. Unfortunately, we didn't get the chance to use the toner. My friend threw an absolute fit upon seeing her hair after bleaching, accusing me of ruining it. She refused to listen to any advice I had about the necessary steps to reach her desired color. We argued back and forth until she decided that she would go to a salon to have professionals fix it, and that I would have to pay for their services. Naturally, I disagreed and told her I couldn't afford to pay for any salon visits even if I had genuinely made a mistake. We argued some more, and eventually she wouldn't even allow me to apply the toner before storming out. Honestly, even if we had used the toner, it probably wouldn't have resulted in exactly what she wanted. When I did that color on myself, my starting hair color was much lighter. It was probably irresponsible of me to agree to dye her hair without being 100% confident in the outcome. I should have also offered to contribute financially towards her going to a professional, solely to preserve our friendship. Am I the asshole in this situation? You clearly communicated to your friend that you are not a professional, and she still chose to have her hair dyed by you. You even warned her beforehand that going from dark hair to platinum takes a lot and might not turn out perfect. It was unreasonable for her to throw a fit and accuse you of ruining her hair after just the bleaching process. It's common knowledge that the hair will still need additional steps, such as toning, to achieve the desired color. It is not your responsibility to pay for her to get her hair fixed at a salon, especially since she was aware that you are not a professional. Additionally, you mentioned that you couldn't afford it even if you wanted to. While it might have been kind to offer to contribute financially towards a professional fix, it doesn't make you an asshole for not doing so. The friendship should not be based on your ability to pay for her hair mistakes. Overall, it seems like your friend had unrealistic expectations and reacted in an unreasonable manner. Am I the antagonist for refusing to pay my mom the sum she deems I should? I recently had to extend my college term because I missed a course. In Sweden, students receive financial support for attending school, and before turning 18, that money is given to the legal guardian. It's important to note that my mother has always struggled with finances. She spends beyond her means, takes out loans she can't repay, and is currently in debt of 1.2 million KR, approximately 120K USD. Everything has always revolved around her and her money. Whenever I got injured, her primary concern was how to claim insurance. Whenever something broke, it was all about money. Even when I was sick and at home from school, she never asked how I was feeling. Instead, she immediately shamed me for being sick. As a result, my self-worth and confidence have suffered greatly. Additionally, I have multiple mental illnesses, and my mother has taken advantage of them to benefit herself financially. This becomes significant because when I had to take an extra term in college, we couldn't receive the usual financial support since it wasn't full-time. Instead, my mother discovered that we could apply for activity benefits, which are specifically intended for people with disabilities and mental illnesses. The application was granted, and I received a substantial sum of 2,800 USD for the 3 months I had already attended school. I don't mind paying rent, even though I'm not obligated to while I'm still in college. However, I knew my mother would ask for an unreasonable amount. Keep in mind, we live in a small apartment that costs $880 per month. She demanded approximately $830 per month, which I found absurd. Furthermore, due to the 3 months I hadn't paid her, as I had no income, she wanted $1,780 out of the $2,800 I received. When she informed me of all this, she must have noticed my distress, and that's when I finally couldn't contain my bottled-up feelings anymore. I expressed how it seemed like my well-being was never taken into consideration and how it was unfair because I spent about 65% of my time at my adoptive dad's place, so logically, he should receive the majority. Of course, she hadn't even thought about that. I was actually surprised that she allowed me to say all of this. For a few seconds, there was silence. But then she exploded at me, calling me every name in the book, except a burden. It hurt a lot. She accused me of being cruel and claimed she had no money. That's when I responded with, "Whose fault is that? It certainly isn't mine." This made her even angrier. Finally, I said something that I somewhat regret, stating that I wanted a mother, not a landlord. I still hold that sentiment because she hasn't acted like a mother to me in years, apart from providing basic necessities like food. She gave me the most resentful glare, and for a moment, I genuinely thought she might physically harm me. She uttered something that stuck with me. "I'll never forgive you for this, I swear to God." And until now, she hasn't forgiven me or even spoken to me. I just need to know if I am the one at fault here. I feel like I'm being reasonable and logical, but she constantly dismisses me as childish and stupid. So, am I the asshole? It appears that your mother has been prioritizing her financial needs and taking advantage of your mental illnesses to profit from them. Furthermore, her reaction to your honest feelings and concerns was hurtful and inappropriate. It is understandable that you would want to express your frustrations and desire for a more supportive and caring relationship with your mother. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.